WHAV. 97.9 FM WHAV.
Catch the wave, WHAV, Merrimack Valley, open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
All right, we are here. It is a Monday night. I'm Bill Macek, and my co-host Bill Ellis is here, 6:07 on a Monday night, and we have a good guest coming up this first hour. In second hour, we're going to have open lines because the guest we thought we had has canceled, but we'll reschedule.
But we'll still talk politics.
Yeah, we can talk politics, sure.
Yes.
The open mic show is something that we like to get phone calls on. We encourage people to make phone calls.
Right.
So we hope that when we have our first guest, who is City Council Vice President Tom Sullivan, on, that you have a lot of questions. A lot of things are going on in Haverhill. Tom's involved with a lot of them. We're going to be talking about a lot of them, but rather than you just listen, give us a call at 978-374-1900. And any time that we have a guest on, you have to state a topic with the guest, but other times when we have open lines, we will take calls on any topic that you would like to discuss.
You know what's interesting, Billy, is I never really was exposed to Haverhill until I get involved with the show. This is a pretty vibrant place. There's a
Yes.
lot of activities that take
you
place
say
here.
vibrant, but let's use the word that's really in vogue right now. Do you know what that would be?
Exciting?
Robust.
Robust.
Don't you hear everybody using that word now?
No.
Robust. Yeah.
Where do you hear robust used?
Well, you're not paying attention because even the
Donald Trump,
even the politicians are using
Trump,
it. Yeah.
Trump, everything is tremendous with Trump. He's
Well,
got to add a little more to his vocabulary.
He could, yeah, he could expand some of his.
Billy, I wasn't here last week. Who won the cake?
Brian won the cake.
Did he really?
Yeah, Brian won the cake. Brian, our regular caller.
The guy that gives me trouble all the time for giving last names?
Brian doesn't give. Yeah,
No,
that's right. That's why I didn't give his last name.
Can I give it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
He'd be insulted by
That's why
that?
you get. He'll call in probably,
I
and
hope
when he
so.
does, if he wants to talk about the cake, I hope he does. I hope he tells us how good it was. But if he doesn't bring it up, then we won't bring it up. But Brian won the cake. Hey, this hour of the new Open Mic Show is sponsored in part by Auto Fair, which is Auto Fair Subaru at 503 Broadway, Haverhill, right off I-495 at exit 50. And we thank them for their sponsorship of a portion of our show, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And also the cake. Let's talk about how people can win the cake.
LBD, second generation Italian bakery.
Right, located right on South Main Street in Bradford Square. They are nice enough to give us a cake once a month to give away on the anniversary or birthday giveaway, where people call in 978-374-1900, and they give the name of the person, friend, relative, whoever it may be. They can give a name of somebody who would, this month has a birthday coming up in
The month of November.
November
it is.
Can you believe we're already in November?
Billy, in January, we'll have a year anniversary.
I know. So anyway, I'm all looking forward to the coming fall season. I don't really like winter that much. But it's probably my least favorite.
You don't like it because of Christmas and because you have to buy presents.
No.
Face it, Billy,
winter
you're tight.
doesn't come anymore till January.
Winter?
Yeah, our seasons are
No,
shifting.
do you remember a few years ago
I mean,
when
look-
we had all that snow on Halloween? And then the rest of the year, there
I'm
was
telling you,
no snow?
Mother Nature's shifting things. It's not the same. The winter starts in January and goes heavy into February and March now. And look at our trees right now. They're almost still green, most of them, right? I mean, they are. The fall is late. The leaves aren't falling. It's almost
what are you
Halloween.
saying?
Halloween, there's usually
So what are you saying, Billy?
piles
Who's
of
to
leaves.
blame or who's to get credit for the change?
Mother
or lack
Nature.
of?
I'm blaming Mother Nature. If you want to blame anybody, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I like.
Now, you picking on her because she's a woman?
Absolutely not. No,
Okay.
no.
I just wanted to feel you out and see what that was all about.
No.
How come it's not Father Nature?
Thought never crossed my mind.
How come it's not Father Nature?
I don't know. Why don't you do some research on that?
I think I will do
and
that.
Why don't you report back next Monday?
I will do that.
All right,
How
good.
come ships? They always say ships are hers. Why is that?
Her Majesty. I
Well, I
think
know Her
it's-
Majesty,
it's,
but
you know,
everybody talks about the ships being women.
the HMS, what's that stand for?
Her Majesty's ship.
Right, right.
That's,
Right.
but now
That-
let me ask you
those
a
are the-
question,
those
though.
are
If
the
it was
British ships,
if it's a
right?
king, right, if it's a king, it'd be His Majesty's ship. True?
Well, you think they're going to change it to HMS?
Yeah, of course, H.
They-
It's
oh,
about
they-
the H, Billy.
Oh, yeah.
His
they're
and
both-
her.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right, yeah.
Well,
What
you,
am I thinking? I didn't think that
you're,
one through. Yeah.
go back to Mother Nature, Billy, and,
All right.
and think about that.
Anyway, I'm just saying that we're going to have a late fall this year. I predict that.
Well, hopefully we'll have a lack of winter, because we went right from winter to summer this year.
I used to love skiing and all that stuff, but I don't do it anymore. My kids grew up, and I'd be up there alone. You want to go skiing?
No.
No, you don't ski either.
I
see? So-
skied when I was a kid,
Yeah, okay.
but after falling too many times, he says there's got to be an easier way.
Yeah, well. Anyway, there is a guest waiting in the wings for us. Tom Sullivan, Vice President of the Haverhill City Council, will be here when we come back from our break, right here on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the new Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
For more in-depth coverage of the news, visit WHAV's website at WHAV.net.
Catch the wave.
When the Haverhill School Committee meets, 97.9 WHAV FM is there live from Haverhill City Hall. Class sizes, special education, teacher hiring, and spending are among the topics covered Thursday nights at 7 when the school committee is in session. WHAV's live coverage is presented in part as a public service by Youth and Powerhouse, formerly Girls Inc.
Community Spotlight.
Join Sue Cullen of High Vibration Wellness each Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. for a group Reiki and guided meditation session at Groveland's Town Hall, 183 Main Street in the Center Meeting Room. Each all-ages class is $5, and more information is available by calling 978-372-1101. Someone you know is on WHAV. To submit or read your own nonprofit announcement, click on the Contact tab at WHAV.net or email news@WHAV.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, I'm Eric Scott.
WHAV. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
We are back on the Open Mic Show. It is 6:15, and we have our guest for this hour coming up. Not coming up, right? He's already here. Sitting with us, Haverhill City Council Vice President Thomas Sullivan is here.
Thank you, Bill. Thank
All
you.
right, so move right up into that mic, Tom.
Thank you, Billy.
Don't be shy. Yeah,
I'm not
there
going
you
to be
go.
shy at all.
All right.
I only have 45 minutes.
No, you're good.
All right.
We can hold you over if need be.
Hold me. Hold me over.
All right, 978-374-1900 is the number for you to remember to call in as our conversation goes along. And Tom, you have a lot of things that you'd like to talk about. And
No, you
where
told
do
me I needed
where
10
do you-
talking
I asked
points.
for 10.
So
right.
I gave you 12.
You gave me 12. So we have plenty of conversation items.
Yes.
Which one would you like to start with? What's really a big item that you're working on?
You know what? It's like a game show. You pick.
Oh, okay.
Pick, that,
All
pick
right.
from that
VFW
list.
Santa
Well,
Parade.
I want to talk about something I love. The
What's that?
number one, the VFW Santa Parade, which is going to be on November 18th, and new parade route this year, and also you have an annual golf tournament coming up this Friday. So
Yes.
you had two items. You snuck in a second one there. So really, you had 13 items.
There's at least 13
At
items
least
there.
13 items you wanted. All right, let's talk about the parade first, and then we'll get to the golf.
Sure.
All right,
Well,
because I think the parade is so spectacular. It's such a great thing.
Yep,
And
it really is.
Who started it, Tom?
well, that would be my father.
That was your father.
Yeah,
That's
that was
right.
My dad,
Yes.
and not just my dad. There was a group of veterans from Lorraine Post 29.
Right.
Group of veterans that said, they wanted to continue a tradition that had been ongoing by and sponsored by the Greater Haverhill Chamber of Commerce. Back in 1964, the Chamber decided they no longer wanted to move in that direction and continue that event. So the VFW took it over and made it their own, and this is the 54th year.
You know what I do miss, though? The VFW Drum and Bugle Corps.
Yep,
They were
Shoemakers.
spectacular.
The Shoemakers Drum and Bugle Corps were award-winning, was an award-winning drum and bugle corps back in the 60s, 70s, and I think even the 80s. And a lot of kids in Haverhill grew up at the VFW, and my father became actually the father of a lot of those
Sure.
kids. And it was a wonderful time. It was a different time. It was a time when you could barter with your own band. You could tell the other cities and towns and the other bands, hey, we'll come to your town and play.
really?
If you come to
Yeah.
our town and play. Yeah, the parade didn't always cost $45,000 like it does today because they didn't always have to pay the bands in the early days. Now we have to pay all the marching
Right.
bands.
But the Shoemakers used to go all over the country in their van.
Yes.
And they won some big awards.
They did. They
Yeah.
won national awards, and
Yeah.
they would travel in a bus
Yeah.
bus that was taken by Capola Bus. Capola Bus always gave my father a good deal on the old buses, and
Yeah.
he would take them and bring them across country.
Yeah.
Where'd the name Shoemakers come from?
Haverhill being the shoe city, the history of Haverhill being a shoe manufacturing, a shoe making city, and that's how they came up with that.
Yeah, all made sense. All right, let's talk about golf now. Unless there's something, you know what? Let's
No,
wait before
well,
we
the
leave the
parade
parade.
route.
Let's talk about the parade route,
Yeah.
November 18th, and how people can help the VFW fund that parade, because we certainly don't want them to ever not make enough money to pay for it and have to cut it out.
Sure. Quickly, the parade used to go downtown. Back in the old days, the parade did wind downtown, and it would actually make a convoluted route from Merrimack Street up Emerson, White, Winter, and eventually it made its way to the VFW. For many, many years, the route has been Route 125 Main Street, Bradford to Haverhill.
Right.
But when the building was sold, the VFW Post building was sold, we decided it was time for a change. No real reason to make everybody march up Heartbreak Hill.
That's what I always called it.
Yep, Heartbreak Hill, City Hall. You won't be doing that this year. You're going to be turning left. So we're going to start at the Hunking School. The Bradford part of the route stays the same, and then we're going to take a left at the Basileia Bridge, go down Merrimack Street, right onto Washington Square, right onto Emerson Street, and it's going to end in front of the Boys and Girls Club, and it's going to disband along Bailey Boulevard. And we're hopeful that we can have the Citizen Center open as a post-parade facility for children to be picked up and a place for people to stay warm and use the facilities.
Great. Sounds like a great thing, though. Now, how about somebody that wants to send a few bucks?
Yeah, so the golf tournament is this Friday, and it's sponsored by the Bradford Country Club. They've become partners in this parade with us. Haverhill Bank, Pentucket Bank as well are major sponsors. But this Friday is the, I don't know if it's the 5th or 6th annual golf tournament, but it's a major fundraiser for us to be able to pay the marching bands and other parade expenses. We have so far about 98 golfers, I think, 96 golfers, whatever that number would come to. And we're hoping for 100 golfers on Friday.
So there's only room for a couple of more.
Only room for a couple more.
Which course are you playing on?
Bradford.
Bradford Country
The
Club.
The Murphy family.
Yeah,
They've been
sure.
awesome. In fact, I'm leaving here to go to a parade meeting at the Bradford Country Club. They're allowing us to use their clubhouse.
Oh, they're
for
good
our-
people.
For our monthly meetings, yeah. They are great.
Good local Haverhill people running the Bradford Country Club.
Yep.
Yep, that's good. Okay, so we got the parade and the in the golf tournament this Friday worked out. So we go to number 2. Now, Winnekenni Castle's recent 50th anniversary reception and future plans for the castle's restoration, etc. What do you know about the castle, Tom?
Well, I know a lot about flowers.
You've been involved with the castle for many years.
Yeah, I've been directly involved with the Winnekenni Foundation since 2005.
Right.
And when I joined the board of directors, we didn't have a lot of money. We still don't have a ton of money, but we're doing much better than we were then. And the question became, what can we do to improve the facility? And we didn't have money to do a lot, so I said, well, why don't we try planting some flowers? So what began as a 1 or 2 flower beds of planting annuals and perennials and so forth has turned into an extensive network of garden beds up top. And every year we try to do a little bit more to make at least the exterior of the castle look as lovely as it can. This is the 50th year of the Winnekenni Foundation. We recently had a wine and cheese cocktail reception, at which time we were able to bring the president, the first president of the board of directors, Dean Buzianis, was
Sure.
one of our honored guests.
Wow.
90-something years old, doing great, and he was thrilled, and we were thrilled to be able to honor the founder of the Winnekenni Foundation at that event.
Yeah, and the Winnekenni area has really become a draw card, not just for Haverhill people, but also I think for people from out of town.
Yep.
It's a great place for functions. It's
It's a beautiful venue,
Yeah.
and Winnekenni stands for beautiful place, so it's aptly named.
Can you tell a little bit about the history of Winnekenni Castle?
Sure, quickly, it was a private residence. It was a summer home for Dr. James Nichols. Dr. Nichols was a very well-off, well-to-do chemist, scientist, started his own journal, National Science Journal, back in the day. And he had gone to England, he loved castles, so he decided he wanted one here. So he found the rocks from New Hampshire and Massachusetts, and he built himself a mini castle. Stayed in the family maybe 20 years. He would only live 10 years after the castle was completed. And after a certain amount of time, the family decided to sell that spot to the city of Haverhill, who had already owned all the land around it. And they sold the castle and the land for $30,000 back in the day.
Such a deal.
It was a bargain. It was a bargain.
bargain. So, but there was an old story I remember hearing when I was very young that the castle was taken from England and hauled over here by ship, piece by piece.
That's not the story.
Not true.
That's a tale.
Okay.
That's a tale.
That's a Winnekenni tale.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So, there's the true story that Tom just told everybody. 978-374 is the number to call if you have a question or a comment about any of the topics that we'll be discussing with Tom tonight. How about the Winnekenni Foundation? Can people get involved? How can somebody listening that either wants to, get their hands a little dirty planting flowers, or send a check as a donation, a tax-deductible donation?
We're always looking for help, and we're always looking for money. It seems to be a popular, thing that everybody needs the money and everybody needs the help. And they can contact us. We're online, www.winnekenni.com, or I believe it is winnekenni@yahoo if you want to send an email. Come visit us. The caretakers live on site. There's always somebody there, and we're always looking for any kind of assistance.
Now, the interior was destroyed by fire in 1967.
Correct.
Has it been brought back to the state that it was prior to the fire?
Well, no. Let me tell you about the history of the interior of the castle. It was burned to basically the ground, if you can burn a castle to the ground, in 1967. It had burned before that, too. In fact, it had burned early turn of the century. Children were playing on the grand staircase when they had real torchieres, the real flame torchieres, and they were playing on the stairs, and they knocked the torchieres over, and that was the end of the castle the first time. As far as I know, they rebuilt it as a residence after that, but when 1967 came, it was completely gutted, and we have not restored it to its original condition. What we did was we basically turned it into a big community center function hall. And that's the way it has been since 1978, 68 was when the foundation was created. By 1980, Whittier Tech, along with the City of Haverhill, Whittier students, they had brought it back, they restored it, but made it more just a modern interior look.
But it's actually more practical probably than turning it back into a castle with walls and second floor.
It is, and if you put the rooms all back to its original condition, how would you furnish? What would you put in there? Everything's been lost.
Right.
It's gone.
Right. Yeah, I remember that was just walls. There was no roof. There was nothing.
Yeah. Well, when we were kids back in the '60s, you could actually walk through the windows because there were no windows, and it looked like a bomb had hit it actually, and that was our memory as kids of it. Of course, there was a playground in back of the barn too that nobody remembers.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was quite a playground. The merry-go-round.
The merry-go-round.
Yeah, you know what you used to do on that too. We used to all try to whip each other off the merry-go-round.
Tom, you really?
Yep. And you know what? The funny thing
I
is,
remember that.
And we didn't even sue.
You had to hold on for dear life.
We didn't even sue each other when we got hurt either. It was a different time back then.
It was a different
Now they
time.
wouldn't even allow that. They would not allow that piece of playground equipment
Right.
in any
But it
playground.
had swings and other stuff.
No,
but
seesaw.
the
Remember the
merry-go-round.
seesaw?
Yeah,
the
they were
seesaws
long.
were like 12,
They
15
were
feet
long.
high.
Yeah, they
And the
go
big
way
trick-
up.
Yeah, the big thing there was to get
Drop
off the
'em.
seesaw and drop them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can't do that now.
Can't do that either.
No.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
You gotta almost feel bad for the kids that just get a regular plastic playground now, right?
Absolutely. And while we're talking about the castle, there's a lot going on in the park too. So I don't know if we have time now to get into that.
No,
but there
I think we do. Go
There are a
ahead.
number of good projects going on in the park that have been going on in the park over the past few years. Trails have been improved by the Haverhill Trails Committee, by the New England Mountain Bike Association. We're very fortunate to have NEMBA involved in the park. They've been involved for at least the last 4 or 5 seasons. They're constantly creating new trails and improving existing trails. In fact, there's now a plan, and it has to be approved, to make improvements to the Merrill Trail. The Merrill Trail just got a cutting. There's been a cutting going
Yeah.
on over there, and I want to talk about that a little bit, because we're not trying to cut down the good trees. What we're trying to do is cut out the invasive vines, the dead trees, the decaying trees, and we're trying to regenerate that area of the forest. It's not a salvage project, which was the hemlock project at Winnekenni
Correct.
back a
Yeah.
few years back. This is not a salvage. This is a thinning project. Once they're done with the Merrill Trail, we're actually going to have parking on Canosa Street. There's going to be a very rustic parking area. I think it's 15 or 16 cars. We'll be able to bang a right into the parking lot right across from the tech center, where Necco's Tech Center is.
Yeah.
The entrance to the parking will be there.
Okay.
And people will be able to access the Merrill Trail from that point. And up to this point, we've never had safe parking. They don't allow the parking on the street. So
Right.
I think with NEMBA's improvements next year, with the Haverhill Trail Committee working on it, it's just another area of the park that's going to really look sharp when it's done.
That's great because you can ride bikes, you can jog, you can walk, and there's
Yeah.
longer trails, there's shorter trails, and it's really a fantastic area. It's beautiful, and it's great to hear that even more expansions
And
going
it's being
on.
used by good people. I would have to say that in recent years, a lot more good people, good families are feeling more comfortable about using the park and all of its assets. And it's come a long way.
Yeah, and as far as the boy, did that one go out my head? No. As far as the something that I was going to say, and he's holding up a sign, and
Yeah, don't forget
Yeah.
to call them.
yeah, so you know what,
Billy, while you're putting your thoughts
While
together,
I'm putting my thoughts together,
I'm just looking at the website. Now, you folks had a car show there.
We did. Every year we do a car show in August, and this year I was told, I was not there, but we had well over 300 cars, and those cars were spread out on the lawn outside of the castle, and it was an amazing event.
Must have been great because I'm not familiar with it, but looking online, it's a beautiful place. Now, they had something there last Thursday, Billy, that you would have liked, an evening of psychic readings.
Well, I know. I was just going to bring that up when you were done. I was going to say that they do
You
those
knew
on
that, so
on
you're
a
psychic.
they
You knew
do
I was
those
gonna say
on
that.
a regular basis. That's right, because I am psychic. And you know what? We're going to take a break. We're going to take care of a little business from some of our underwriters, and then we're going to come back, and we've got a phone call on hold, and we're talking this hour with City Council Vice President Tom Sullivan, right here and only on the open mic on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the new open mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
It's 6:30.
Stay informed each day with local news coupled with FSN's worldwide coverage. 97.9 WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at WHAV.net.
Catch the wave.
Melinda's Garden Moments help gardeners create and maintain a healthy, beautiful garden with ease, inside or out and all year long. This is Melinda Myers, inviting you to tune in every weekday morning, right here on WHAV. You'll learn creative ways to grow your own vegetables and herbs while beautifying your landscape. eco-friendly lawn care, flower garden design basics, unique container gardens, attracting birds and butterflies to the landscape, and much more. Again, please join me weekday mornings for Melinda's Garden Moment for a very environmentally friendly approach to gardening. Remember, only local radio can bring you this feature opportunity, but only WHAV does.
Auto Fair Subaru of Haverhill has been an active member in the community for years. It's proud to partner with great organizations like Veterans Northeast Outreach Center, Make-A-Wish Foundation, and Katydid Foundation of Haverhill. These selfless charities are vital to our community, and Auto Fair takes great pride in helping. Auto Fair Subaru encourages everyone to see what they can do to help make our city and the surrounding areas a better place for everyone. There's a list of supported charities at autofairsubaru.com.
Wave weather.
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Around a 60% chance for some showers tonight with fog developing late. Lows drop to 53 degrees with a light breeze. Overall for the day tomorrow, mainly dry in the morning hours, becoming more scattered with the rain chances in the afternoon. Mainly cloudy and highs only in the upper 50s. Generally a 6 to 12 mile per hour breeze out of the northeast. Low 55 and rain becoming likely with some heavy downpours for Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, partly sunny skies and highs near 70. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Catch the wave. WHAV. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
6:33 on a Monday night on the Open Mic Show with Bill Macek, Bill Ellis, and our guest, Haverhill City Councilor, Vice President Tom Sullivan. Tom, we have a phone call. You ready to take a phone call?
Sure, let's
okay.
do it.
Let's take our first call of the evening at 978-374-1900 if you want to join in and call. But we have Jerry on the line. Hello, Jerry.
Good evening, Tom. Good evening, Bill. You know, a couple of years ago, I had a wonderful afternoon at Winnekenni. It was during Winnekenni Castle. It was during the summer months. And the reason I went was because the drummer in the band that I used to sing with was performing there with his band. His name was, he's an attorney for one thing, Bill, so you might know him.
Yes, I know him.
Ralph Barbacalo.
Well, that's his non-stage name. He's actually...
Yeah, what is his stage name?
Rico Barr.
Yes.
Rico Barr.
Rico Barr.
And we exchanged hellos. Years ago he had played drums with our band.
He's still playing, and he's a friend of mine from way back, Jerry. And I got to tell you, I get his schedule. He's playing all the time. He's still very active. Yeah. I'm on his mailing list, his email list. So.
Do you think you'll invite Ralph back to Winnekenni Castle sometime?
He has been with us for many years. I don't know whether he was here this season or not. I suspect that he wasn't because I don't remember seeing his name on the marquee.
Yeah, it was so nice, though. I mean, we brought our lawn chairs,
Yep.
And we sat out there on the grass and listened to Rico Barr. You're right, Rico Barr.
Rico Barr. He's
remember his name.
Great guy. Good little jazz band is usually what they're playing.
And how was he as an attorney? Did he? What's his specialty?
I believe he has a very successful practice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Hey, Jerry, is the group that you were with, are they still together, your band?
No, they're all passed. I'm the only one. It was... we were competitors of Georgie K, so you know how long that was.
Big band. You had a big band.
Yeah,
big
band,
brass, horn section.
Piece. I'm looking right now at the picture of us up at Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire. I'm in the front row there.
Were you at Shangri-La?
We were on the pier.
On the pier, okay.
Yeah, 14-piece band.
What was the name of your band, Jerry?
Tony Brown's band.
Tony Brown.
His real name was Tony Baroni.
Ah, okay.
14-piece band. We traveled. I made more money singing 2 or 3 nights a week with the band than I did as a chemist at the Lawrence Experiment Station.
Good for
Hey,
you.
boy,
Well, Jerry, we-
that added bill.
I hope that there's no.
I am now.
I hope you've reported all that income, Jerry, and that there's no
I'm sure you
IRS
did.
agents listening.
Now,
I know,
Jerry-
I did. No, I reported everything.
Jerry,
He reported everything for me.
Jerry, in January, we're going to have our first anniversary. I'm going to request for our anniversary show that you sing a few notes from that song that you sang for us a few weeks back.
First
So-
Rose of Kalani?
yes, but don't sing it tonight. Save it till January, and we want to hear
What
you sing
about,
it.
But keep practicing.
What about a Sinatra song, you know?
Whatever you want to sing, Jerry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
I still can sing a little, you know.
Yeah,
not
you
really,
sound
you
good.
know.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
it when you were singing before.
Yeah.
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 Maybe we can have a Jerry Day at the Winnekenni Castle.
There you go.
The other comment that I had was you were talking about, you know, the rain and all that, and how late the summer is this year. And you're right, really. The grape leaves are still green in our hobby here,
Yeah.
and everything is still growing.
See,
And,
Bill? I told you.
I'm kind of Bill and Tom. I'm kind of leaning towards global warming. You know, there's
Climate change. No more global warming.
Yeah, it was global cooling, then global warming, now it's climate
Now
change.
it's climate change, Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and tides are getting worse too.
Well, and storms are getting worse. You know.
storms are getting worse. Hurricanes.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate. You know, the only disaster we had in Merrimack Valley is Columbia Gas.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's another story for another night.
Hey, Jerry, you were alive in the hurricane of '38, right?
Yes, I was.
Can you tell us how it affected this Haverhill area?
Well, I was at. I can't tell you much about the Haverhill area, but I can tell you a lot about the Merrimack area. My grandmother lived in a 3-decker on Burke Street, which is not too far from Merrimack. I'd say it's about a half a mile, and actually the water from from the flood was to the second floor where she lived.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
No.
Wow.
She had to be evacuated.
That's amazing.
Since that time, they built what they call, containment up in New Hampshire and Vermont. You know, the Corps of Engineers.
Now that must be the year that downtown Haverhill flooded, and
Yeah.
and then they built the wall,
Right.
the seawall.
Yeah,
as
they
call
built
it.
the wall.
Yeah, yeah. Hey Jerry, we're gonna talk to our guest, Vice President Tom Sullivan, a little bit, and thank you for your call this evening, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, and don't forget Ralph Papagallo.
I'll let you know when I see he's in the area. All right.
Yeah, tell him that I was asking for him.
Okay.
Tell him that he was a great drummer in our band. I'll tell you.
All right. Thanks for calling
Thank
in,
you, Jerry.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Jerry's such a knowledgeable guy. Of course, you know, when we get to 90, we'll probably have more knowledge too, right?
You won't even remember your name, Billy, when you're 90.
I was trying to block that out.
I know.
That's what that was. Hey, Tom Sullivan, Vice President of the Haverhill City Council, is with us for this hour. And right now, 6:39 is the time as we move forward. And Tom sent along a great list of topics. Now, the next one is the Mill Street Adopt a Park site. You want to talk about that? The annual mums planting?
Sure.
Yeah.
So 2 Saturdays ago, myself and volunteers, 9 of us, planted 70 mums at the Mill Street Island, which is located just below Gale Park on 110.
Yep.
It's my Adopt a Park site. I've had that site for probably 4 or 5 years now. And every fall, we will plant the mums around the island. Noonans will take care of those mums for us, make sure they're watered. And they are just about now ready to pop. So over the next few weeks, it's going to look very nice, and people do appreciate those. It really dresses up that little part of the city.
It does. It's a good little section you got
Yep.
there.
It's a nice entrance to the Highlands.
I drive by it quite often. That's
Yep.
right. Yeah. So that's great.
And I can't speak enough about the Adopt a Park program. As you know, Bill,
It
the
is.
Haverhill's Bright Side Adopt a Park program is doing a great job.
A great program.
And all over the city,
Yep.
and particularly in the downtown areas. So,
Do you have many businesses that adopt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanna say there's at least 50 or 60.
Wow,
businesses.
that's great.
Yeah, between the planters and the actual garden locations, there's probably 50 or 60 business sponsors.
Yeah, it's really a popular thing for businesses to do, and it makes the city look good.
It makes the city look great.
Yeah. Then there's the Tattersall Farm Sunflower Field idea.
Yeah, here's one.
Here's one he's thinking
Here's
of.
one. We haven't even ran this by the board yet.
You're trying to
we have
sprout this one?
Yeah. We have to be careful here. Myself and Leota Surratt were talking at the Tattersall Farm Days, and I found out that they've attempted to plant sunflowers at Tattersall's the last couple of years, a small field of sunflowers, but they're not having any luck. Apparently they need irrigation, and they need a way to control the deer population from eating the flowers or the stems. So Leota reached out to Essex Aggie, and I don't know, do we still call them Essex Aggie?
I think so. Why not?
The Technical Institute
Yeah.
there. And there appears to be interest for them to collaborate with us if the board would like to pursue this and try it one more time to perhaps grow a large sunflower field. And maybe we could do the same thing that Kobe Farm in West Newbury does, or Newbury. They charge $5 a car for parking, and you go in and you take pictures of sunflower fields, and people pay it because it's a nice day.
Yeah, I like sunflowers.
You
They're
know,
cool. There's just something cool about the sunflowers.
Yeah,
They're
when you have a whole
big-
field of
yeah,
them.
My wife likes them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't know where this idea is going yet. We do have to run it by the board and see if they'd be interested in talking to the Essex Tech people, the Essex Aggie people, about a collaborative effort. And then we would have to see what we could do about getting irrigation and deer control.
And yeah, how do you
measures.
control the deer?
Well-
or will you have so many sunflowers that they can't eat them all?
Well, you take the gunpowder from the
Oh.
powder house monument.
Oh, so there'll be open season.
Yeah, open season. No, we won't be doing that, but we will figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, maybe you can.
So that's a maybe. That's not a
Well,
definite.
maybe you
That's
could,
a
they
maybe.
have deer stations where you put deer food. You familiar with that?
Yeah.
They have them up in Vermont.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know they probably have them all over, but it helps the deers even get through winters because they it's kind of like an open restaurant. for
Right,
'em,
right.
free restaurant for deers.
Right. I'm not sure how the neighbors
You
would
get
all
deer
feel
food.
about that.
Well, but they're not going
maybe
away.
they wouldn't eat the flowers and the plants.
That's
They
what I'm
might
saying.
be happy
If you
with
give
it.
them something better than flowers,
Yeah.
maybe give them some steak or something.
There you go. Yeah.
It's deer steak.
I'm not feeding any deer
Oh,
steak.
all right.
No.
All right. Okay. Just joking along here, people. All right. 978-374-1900 is the number for you to call in. You still have time to call and make a comment about something we're talking about or something else. If you have a question regarding the city council, Vice President Tom Sullivan is here tonight, and you can give him a call, 978-374-1900. What's going on in Riverside Park?
Well, as you know, the mayor has expressed interest in improving the vista, the view of
Yeah.
the Merrimack River from the stadium,
Right.
from the park. I did take a walk along the existing trail, the trail that goes from in back of Riverside Park all the way almost to the Merrimack River, really.
Yeah, it does.
It's in tough shape.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful potential for a really lovely trail with scenic views of the Merrimack. And I just want to make sure that the mayor said that he would make that a priority.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that he does.
And
I
it's a
wanna join
well-used
with him
area.
and
That
help
whole
him out.
the whole area is well-used.
Yes.
It's a very flat area. I know a lot of people, like when my kids were young, we taught them to ride their bicycles down there and things like that. And there were always all ages, and from young to seniors down there walking. Just kind of enjoying the park and playing around. So
Haverhill's blessed, you know this, many people who have been here for a long time know this. Haverhill is blessed with beautiful parks and recreational facilities.
Right.
It sets us apart. No one has the amount of parks and recreational facilities that Haverhill has in the valley.
that's right.
And as such, I'm thrilled to be working to improve them. and promote them and do whatever we can to make people understand that we have the open space, we have the public space, and it's quality.
Right.
It's good. They're good parks, they're good recreation facilities, and they're only getting better. As
Right.
you
And the
know.
mayor has spent literally millions of dollars with spray parks for kids in certain parks.
Swayze's park is
that's
amazing.
Swayze's in particular, yeah.
Yep, and as you know, you certainly know, we have to maintain them. If
Right.
we're going to spend the money on renovating and improving them, we also have to have a maintenance budget, which I think we're doing a pretty good job. I
Yep.
know they're doing a great job up at Swayze's.
Yeah, and so anyway, yes, we do have great parks. And you know what, the statistic that a lot of people don't know is that we're almost 36 square miles. And I always say, and Lawrence is just about 6 square miles. So we're 6 times larger in square miles than Lawrence.
And with three-quarters of the population.
And we have, that's why we have like, the parks you talk about,
Yep.
why we have 7 golf courses
Yep.
and lakes and ponds and,
How does Haverhill rate in the state?
we're the best.
Well, I understand that, but how do they rate size-wise? I think
Size-wise, we're the biggest, I think, in the Merrimack Valley.
Yeah, I don't.
I think
maybe-
Belchertown is the largest, I think.
Yeah, I'm not
That's
sure.
that area.
Yeah, but we have, that's why we have a snow budget, which is higher, because we have about 400 miles of roadway
Wow.
that we have to maintain and plow and keep.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. So in a way, it's a disadvantage, certain things such as snowstorms, it costs us more money and we need, we people, with equipment, et cetera, to keep the. But we do an okay job. We know how to do it, and we got great people. I've always said the best thing about Haverhill is its people.
I agree.
Well, the good thing is if the climate change has an effect on winter, and there really isn't a winter this year, and you have a lot of money in the snow budget, I would move forward to say that they should give the city councils a raise.
No, but Bill, you're
we're
going.
not
guys
even
are- you guys
going
are against
there.
that?
We're not talking. No, we're not looking.
That
for
item
that.
is not on that list.
That's not on his.
Billy asked me to throw that in there.
Yeah,
I was trying to get your
I appreciate
backing.
you saying that, Bill, but
Not tonight.
we're not going there. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is the Powder House Restoration Project, which has been kind of on the front page a little bit.
Yeah, so this is something a little new. It was brought to my attention that we have a powder house, which was a historic structure. It used to hold gunpowder back in the days of the colonial days.
Right.
And the townspeople would actually go to these monuments, which were then powder houses, and they would fill up their muskets because
Yeah.
the Indians were coming.
Right.
So they'd be called alert, and they'd go and they'd fill them up. We have one of those down in Riverside on
Right.
Powder House
Powder
Avenue.
House Hill. Yeah.
Powder House Hill.
Yeah.
And it's in bad shape. The cement roof is heavily damaged by weather and lack of maintenance. So a resident down there, Lloyd Sanborn, asked me if I would take a look at it, and I did. And I got interested in it and the history of it. Lloyd's very interested in the history of it. And we were able to get the city, the highway department, Brian Zanaboni and the crew, graciously put a top around it to
Yep.
protect what we have now. And Lloyd Sanborn, Haverhill resident, is working with the group from Newburyport who have a powder house project that they just finished. They just restored a powder house down in Newburyport. And they're talking to Lloyd to let us know how we can do it too.
Nice.
So hopefully that project will come to fruition over the next year or so, and we can bring back this historic monument.
Great. Hey, we got to take a pause to do a few messages, and we'll be right back with more with City Council Vice President Tom Sullivan on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the new Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
97.9 WHAV.
That we deliberate and achieve with wisdom and understanding, recognizing the rights of all of our citizens with full regard for the dignity and justice of the individual.
Each week, WHAV News brings you live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the Haverhill City Council. Listen to 97.9 WHAV FM each Tuesday night at 7 when the City Council is in session from the Theodore A. Pelosi Jr. City Council Chambers in City Hall. As a public service, Haverhill City Council coverage is sponsored in part by Dole, Childs, and Shaw Funeral Home.
WHAV. WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we're back with Haverhill City Council Vice President Tom Sullivan on the Open Mic Show. It's 6:51. You have just about 9 minutes to call in if you have a question or comment. If you'd like to discuss anything with Tom, give us a call at 978-374-1900. During our little break there, Tom, you said that there was one thing in particular you wanted to talk about, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to give an update on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial that I don't know, that everybody knows about, but the memorial sits at the Basilia Bridge right now. It's been there since it was dedicated back in the late 60s, early 70s,
yeah.
I think it was, early 70s by the time that happened. There have been calls and attempts in the past to maybe see if there's a better location for that monument, and Joe Bevilacqua, Councilor Bevilacqua, brought it up at a council meeting, introduced Lou Fossarelli, who spoke about the need to do something better for Vietnam veterans, and perhaps have a better spot for the monument that exists. So the mayor set up an ad hoc commission. It was referred to Natural Resources and Public Planning first, and then we asked the mayor to set up an ad hoc commission, which he did. So there are 12 of us on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Ad Hoc Commission, and it's a two-pronged mission. The first is to take the existing monument and find a better spot for it. Well, we found a better spot, and the better spot is located off of Mill Street. It's actually on Mill Street.
Right.
It's called Millbrook Park, and it's that little park area right before the entrance to Plug Pond.
It's kind of right at the entrance.
Yep, right at the entrance of Plug Pond. We met today. We had a site visit of the commission, and we met and looked it over, and we've determined where the monument, the existing monument that will be removed from the corner of 1 Water Street, Basilia Bridge, the monument will be moved to the new location, and it will be all done by Veterans Day of this year. So phase 1, moving the monument, erecting a flagpole, landscaping the area around the monument will all be done by November 11th.
Fantastic.
After that, we are hopeful to get to expand upon the monument and come up with a grander, elaborate scheme for that park, and perhaps down the road even rename it Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park.
Yeah.
It is a park that's protected by the city. It's a designated park. It's okay as it is right now, but we really think we can do a lot to not only honor the veterans, the Vietnam vets who certainly deserve more than they were given at the corner of the bridge, in terms of a better location, but also to beautify the space.
And I'm sure you have all the support of the Highlands Neighborhood Association.
Linda Brown, who you know from the Highlands, she's on our commission. Michael Valvo, who lives right down there on Mill Street, was with us today to give us some guidance on the artistic design and integrity of the park and where it might go, the placement of the monument and all that.
Nice.
Exchange Club of Haverhill, along with Linwood Cemetery, is donating a 30-foot flagpole to the project. Jay Davidowitz, Davco, is donating his services to
Open Mic.
to pour the cement and the foundation for the new monument.
It's just our producer fell asleep and his elbow hit the button.
And Atwood Memorial, Rick Atwood, whose dad did, and Rick, I guess, would have done the original monument back then. They're going to also donate their services to relocate the monument. So far this project is costing us $0.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So you have like a blue ribbon panel, which I always call our Forestry Management Committee, because you were talking about the forestry cuttings up in Winnekenni.
Yeah.
And people sometimes say, they're cutting too many trees, but it really is a panel of knowledgeable people that really understand. I made the suggestion back after the ice storm with all the trees we had down that the mayor appoint a forestry management committee, and he did it, and it is such a strong committee that they're doing such great work throughout the city. We're in the Haverhill forests.
I'm on that committee, you know that.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. It's a blue ribbon panel of the best people,
Tom. There's no committees that I'm not on. I'm really proud of the work that the Forest Management Committee has done. You know, I say I'm on this and I'm on that, but I don't do all the work, and I never take credit for doing all the work. Just like with the Santa Parade. I'm going to leave here and go to a Santa Parade committee meeting, and there'll be a dozen people in that room ready to go like they are every year to make sure we get a fantastic holiday parade on the street.
But you are the guy with the bullhorn over your shoulder, the portable bullhorn that gets the parade kicked off.
I'm the traffic cop. I'll let you know when it's your time to go out on the street.
That's right.
But getting back to the Forest Management Committee, they have done Lions work, and they're doing great work, and I fully support what they're doing. And you're right, they have experts advising them. Some people are saying we're decimating forests to sell wood because we want the money. That is not the reason why we do what we're doing. Forests, like people, need to be healthy. And they sometimes require attention. You don't just let a forest sit forever because it needs medicine, if you want to call it. Just like we need medicine, or we need sometimes doctors. Well, forests sometimes need that too.
And you have, like Jack. Is he still on the committee? He's still on the committee, and he spent a career with DCR.
Yes.
He knows.
Yep.
Department of Conservation and Recreation. He lives trees. He knows all about them.
It's a great crew on that committee. They all have expertise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anyway, Tom, we got a council meeting again tomorrow night.
We do.
Yeah, we got some interesting stuff coming up.
We do. We're going to talk about traffic safety, the intersections of Crystal and Liberty,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
we certainly need to have that discussion,
Yeah.
and we need to figure that out fast.
I think we at least need a four-way stop there. That's
At minimum.
At minimum, we're going to start there. Send it. We have to send it to traffic and safety for their opinion, but we should move fast on that.
Oh, we have to move fast.
That was a catastrophe.
Of course it was. It's a tragedy, and nobody should have to go through that.
Yeah, and then we've got a special permit coming forward for Mount Washington.
Yeah, how about that?
There's a little controversy there.
Yeah, are we allowed
we'll
to
figure
talk
it
about
out.
that? I mean, not that there's a controversy, but we're even allowed to talk about the project.
Well, why not?
Well, I don't have any problem with it. Look, anybody who knows Mount Washington, you certainly do.
Yeah.
Bill, this is our inner city, Mount Washington neighborhood. St. George's Church was the rock of the neighborhood back in the day.
It was.
St. George's was closed when they consolidated all the churches. It's sat idle since then. It's falling down now. It's very sad that we weren't able to do anything with the actual church structure for, 20 years? 15,
Right.
20 years
Who owns
now?
the church?
It was actually sold. The city sold it to a couple of private people that they were going to do their first project, and I'm probably going back 8 years, maybe.
That was before I was on the
even
council.
before, yeah. And they had great intentions, but they never got off the ground at all, and so it's just sat. So it's Bread and Roses that is now stepping in to try to get a project done there. So, in the value, $125 to $150 for a sale after they're done for the units. And
The housing, the prices will be very affordable.
Yeah, very affordable.
And good for that neighborhood,
Right.
because that neighborhood needs quality, affordable housing.
Well, it starts the rejuvenation. Once
Right.
that happens, then the next house gets repaired.
Right.
And, people feel good about their neighborhood too, because
Right.
it's starting to.
Well, the neighborhood groups have done a great job up there, too.
They have.
Urban Kindness, the Mount
Absolutely.
Washington Alliance, they've really come a long
Right.
way in bringing back the neighborhood and making it safer.
Yeah, there's a big effort
everyone.
going on, and I think this is just another brick in the wall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, all good there. I mean,
it is all good. So, other than that, I think we've
What else is
covered
new?
a lot of stuff, Tom. You have really. You do a lot, and I know I appreciate all the things you do too, and we all have our little strength areas, and
We
and
do.
you certainly have
all
a
work
number of them, and you do a great job. So
we all work together.
Yeah,
For the most
we do.
part, everybody does work together, and Haverhill is blessed to have so many talented groups that contribute to the integrity and the vitality of our city.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for coming in. We got to get you out of here so you can go to the Santa Parade meeting.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I'll see you tomorrow night at the Haverhill City Council.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Okay. Thanks,
you,
Tom.
Bill.
All right. Thanks for
Thank you,
coming
Bill.
in.
Thank you very
Pleasure
much,
to meet
Tom.
you.
All right. That, of
Keep up
course,
the good
was
work.
Haverhill
Thank you.
City Council Vice President Tom Sullivan was with us, and hope you've enjoyed the conversation. And you can always reach out to him either by email or phone, probably by going to the Haverhill City Council website. And we'll be right back after our top of the hour break with another hour of the open mic right here on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the new open mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
It's 7 o'clock.
WHAV LP Haverhill.
Here's what's happening in local news. 2 years after a school committee vote stalemate, Haverhill is trying again to bring solar panels to the high school. This time, instead of rooftop panels, the city is thinking of placing the units over a parking lot at the school. Former city purchasing agent Orlando Pacheco, now an energy advisor, explained on Thursday night.
It was about 1 megawatt, or produces about 1 million kilowatts of power, spread out across the high school parking lot.
The panels would be built on what are called canopies over the student parking lot. It's not yet certain whether the city will buy power from the array or simply collect a $25,000 a year rent payment on the 78,000 square feet of space. The arrays would be sloped to allow snow to fall rather than collect. Responding to a question by member Richard Rosa about the lifespan of the panels, Pacheco said they're designed to last 20 years, but usually remain online longer.
Even the panels at Beverly High School that were installed in Jimmy Carter's administration are really just failing now.
Other questions centered on the loss of parking spaces. Pacheco said a few would be lost, and the ability to snowplow around the poles holding up the array. Final designs may change depending on developer proposals. Member Sven Amirian, whose solar industry involvement played a role in the high school roof debates 2 years ago, agreed.
This representation is just one way to approach it in these small strips.
2 years ago, half the school committee opposed a system more than twice as large to be erected on the high school roof by Marlboro-based Mass American Energy, the company that employed Amirian, but had submitted its plan before Amirian was elected to the school committee. Then school committee member Sean Toohey led the charge against the project. He was supported by member Scott Wood, Jr., who was concerned Amirian would profit from the project, and Maura Ryan Ciardello, who said she was concerned about students' safety. Amirian recused himself from discussions. School committee members voted unanimously to allow the city to seek proposals to build the canopies, with a condition proposed by Vice Chairman Paul Magliocchetti that members see the final specification before it's advertised. Demolition of the former St. George's Catholic Church on Washington Street and construction of 10 low-income condo units could go forward if the Haverhill City Council agrees on Tuesday night. Developer Bread and Roses Housing is proposing 10 homes across 2 buildings at 432 Washington Street and 0 Gilbert Avenue. Once the $2.5 to $3 million project is completed, attorney Michael Migliori told the city's planning board last month the condos will sell for between $125,000 and $150,000. City Economic and Planning Director William Pillsbury supports the project. Pillsbury said, "I believe this is an important project for the Mount Washington neighborhood and that the investment in this infill housing will assist in stabilizing the neighborhood by increasing owner occupancy and the related benefits resulting from that." In other business before the City Council, members plan to discuss traffic safety at the intersection of Liberty and Crystal Streets, where a 17-year-old Haverhill High School senior was killed in a crash last week. Council President John Mitchison and Councilor Joseph Bevilacqua asked for the discussion. Jordan Rankin died after a 2-car crash about 9 p.m. last Monday night in the area just off Route 97 in Haverhill. She was taken by ambulance to Lawrence General Hospital and airlifted to a Boston hospital where she was pronounced dead. An investigation is underway by Haverhill Police and the Mass State Police Collision Analysis and Reconstruction Section. No charges have yet been filed. Businesses in Lawrence, Andover, and North Andover affected by the September 13th gas-related fires and explosions and subsequent loss of utilities now have access to a loan pool announced Friday by Governor Charles Baker and other officials. The $1 million emergency loan fund takes effect today. Eligible businesses may borrow money with no payments and no interest for the first 6 months, said Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, and Secretary of Housing and Economic Development Jay Ash. After 6 months, market rates will apply, and loans may be extended or restructured for multi-year terms. An expedited application and approval process aims for 24 to 48-hour turnarounds. Baker said local businesses are the bedrock of our economy and are in dire need of solutions to make sure they can stay in business and continue to provide good-paying jobs. And we're grateful for the regional lenders that have come together to support this important effort. Those lenders include locally Merrimack Valley Credit Union, Pentucket Bank, and Align Credit Union. Businesses in Lawrence, Andover, and North Andover find themselves in a situation they didn't create, but nonetheless are victims of, says Lawrence Mayor Daniel Rivera. With this fund being created, we don't intend to solve all of their problems, but we hope this provides some much-needed relief, he said. Andover Town Manager Andrew Flanagan and North Andover Town Manager Andrew Mailer echoed the sentiments. The fund is the result of a pooled effort of Mass Growth Capital Corporation, the Lawrence Partnership, the 10 lenders involved with the Lawrence Venture Loan Fund, and Mill Cities Community Investments. More information is at wearelawrence.org. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at WHAV.net. From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, I'm Eric Scott.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Rebecca Foster. In Indonesia, a mass burial is taking place for many of the 800-plus victims of Friday's tsunami. The U.S., Mexico, and Canada have agreed on a replacement to the North American Free Trade Agreement. And Tesla's shares soared in early trading Monday after the company's CEO reached a deal with U.S. regulators.
Wave weather.
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley. Around a 60% chance for some showers tonight with fog developing late. Lows drop to 53 degrees with a light breeze. Overall for the day tomorrow, mainly dry in the morning hours, becoming more scattered with the rain chances in the afternoon. Mainly cloudy and highs only in the upper 50s. Generally a 6 to 12 mile per hour breeze out of the northeast. Low 55 and rain becoming likely with some heavy downpours for Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, partly sunny skies and highs near 70. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Try listening to WHAV in your car or anywhere on your mobile phone. For fast access, visit WHAV.net. Broadcasting on the Armstrong FM system, this is 97.9 WHAV.
Catch the wave, WHAV, Merrimack Valley. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we are back for our second hour of the Open Mic Show. Every Monday night we're here, Bill Macek and co-host Bill Ellis, and we would like to speak with you at 978-374-1900 if you have a comment or something you would like to say. We're right here, so give us a call. This is an open lines hour. I would like to mention that this hour is of the Open Mic Show
Stop
is sponsored.
looking at yourself.
No, I have to look at this. I'm looking at the copy, Bill.
Okay.
See, look.
See, 'cause we're on Facebook and we can watch ourselves. And let's invite everybody to talk to us on Facebook. But
Okay, all right, but I'm trying to read this copy.
Do you want me to read it for you?
No.
Okay.
This hour of the Open Mic Show is sponsored in part by Auto Fair Subaru, 503 Broadway, Haverhill, right off I-495 at exit 50. Okay, so we've spoken about that. We also need to speak about the birthday cake, which
LBD's
birthday or anniversary cake.
Yep.
All right, from LBD's second generation Italian bakery, located on South Main Street, right in Bradford Square.
978-374-1900. You know, I'm getting you
You're
something
getting
for your
me
birthday.
something. Yeah, I know.
Now,
Coming
when do
up.
you want to celebrate? Your birthday's on the 12th. But we don't have a show on the 12th. We have one before and one after.
Look, I don't make that decision. My friends and relatives make that decision. You know, if you.
Well, you know what? Your friends and relatives, I tell you what I'm going to do.
What?
I'll leave it up to them to bring you in something. And if nobody brings in from either your friends or relatives, that should tell you what you thought about.
Well, you know what? Whatever you want to do, Bill.
Okay.
You know, so I would at least expect that I'll get something
I'm
from
your
you.
friend. You will get something from me.
You know, we're friends.
I know.
Right?
And I know what you like.
Yeah.
You told me the type of cookies that you like.
Well, you know, what can I tell you?
Maybe a cake, too.
A cake from LBD's, I hope.
Of course it's going to be LBD's.
LBD's
Where else would you
second
buy
generation.
from?
Right. So, and we are giving one of those cakes away to somebody that has a birthday in November. If you call in a name to our producer, Chris, and we'll even put you on the air if you want to give it on the air. We're just looking for names of people that are having birthdays in November, and we're going to draw the last Monday in October.
Of which you will not be here.
Well, you know what? You'll be here, Bill.
I know, I'll be here.
So, you know what? We're in good hands. I trust you can handle drawing a piece of paper out of a cowboy hat.
I'm not going to draw it, though. We'll leave it up to Chris to draw it.
Whatever.
Because the hat usually has 30 names or so forth in it.
It has a lot of names.
It does.
Yeah. And
We may have to get a bigger hat.
Well,
maybe we should get Hoss Cartwright's hat.
I don't know where that is, though.
I know exactly where it is.
Did you buy it at auction or something?
No, it's not. It's sitting in Sul Ross University in Alpine, Texas. I've seen it. I've been there.
Really?
Yeah, I've been there.
How big is it? Is it
It's
really?
huge.
Is it
It's
really
huge.
big?
It's
Yeah.
probably about the size of the board.
Yeah. Well, the last time I was in Texas, I didn't see one cowboy hat.
You were telling me that.
I think they're just.
Are they dying out?
Yeah, dying out. I'm kind of disappointed. I was looking for a hat shop, maybe get myself a cowboy
Nice little
hat.
Stetson.
Yeah.
You would look really good in a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I could make that my new look, huh?
You would look really good. You know who you'd look like?
Who?
Well, I want you to listen here, Pilgrim. You would
John
look like the
Wayne?
Duke. Yes, I think you
You
would.
think I'd look like John? I'm not tall enough to be John Wayne.
Well, no, but in the saddle you would look tall.
That's
what they said, like
you
George.
know about horses. You could get me a horse.
I can get you a horse, a little sway back thing.
Yeah.
That's what they said about George Washington. He was very tall, and then in the when he was on horseback, they said he looked really
tall,
big, and that's why he get a lot of respect.
Big in the saddle,
because he was a general, but just the image of him marching, by the troops.
Okay, well, that's all interesting minutia.
Militia.
Minutia. Yeah, stuff that really doesn't matter.
I know what
We're
you
just
said. Well, it does matter.
Yeah.
I mean, back then, George Washington was big. He was the first president of the United States.
Right. Well, Lincoln was taller than George Washington.
He was, but
Wasn't
Lincoln didn't ride horseback as much as Washington did.
No?
No. But Lincoln did go to some of the Civil War battles. In fact, they said it was very interesting because he was on the front line one time, and he was so obvious because he wore the big 10-gallon hat there, whatever that he
Lincoln
had.
wore a 10-gallon hat?
Well, he wore that big Pope, what do they call it, a stovepipe hat, and but they didn't. They couldn't. I guess he was far enough away that a bullet couldn't hit him. But he was there, and his big thing was he wanted to sit in Davis's seat. The president of the South, he did when the North moved basically the Confederate Army out of Richmond. Lincoln went there and sat in Davis's seat.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I bet. Why didn't he wear his Washington Senators baseball cap?
You know what? He didn't like the Senators that much.
No?
Not the baseball team. He didn't want to promote he didn't like the U.S. Senators. He didn't want to promote. Because back then, Billy, you think about it, the Senators were all broken up because part of them stayed down south.
This is true.
Yeah, so it was all broken up. And did you know that if it wasn't for Grant winning down in Mississippi, that he would probably have lost the election? Because at that time, the war was going bad, and Grant had a big victory down south, and thus people said, well, maybe the war is turning around.
Yeah,
They
I
gave him
heard
another shot.
it was possible that it went the other way, or it was close.
Well, we talk about, Trump and, people on the inside and close to him and associates and so forth that attack him. But during the Civil War, the first general that led the troops was George McClellan. Well, Lincoln ended up firing George McClellan. And what did George McClellan do? He ran against Lincoln for president for the second term.
There you go.
Of course, then that he lost. So, what history, they say, is cyclical, Bill. It keeps going around and around and around.
Well, if
And
you
then
don't learn from it,
that's
you're
right.
destined
And
to repeat it.
Exactly.
That's what the saying
You're destined
is.
or doomed to repeat it.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. Do you want to talk about the next 45 minutes, what's been going on in the news last week?
Yeah, let's do it. But first, because we're at just about 7:15, let's take a short pause, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about stuff that's going on in our world, maybe in or in Haverhill. Anything that people would like to talk about, they can call in and we can discuss that. Or you and I will just be setting the tone.
Well,
right?
I'd like to hear from Brian if he had his cake also.
Yeah, okay, Brian won the cake.
Yes.
Yeah, his name was drawn out last week, and if he wants to call in and let us know how his Albide's second generation cake was, we'd love to hear about it. So 978-374-1900 is the number for you to call, and we'll take your call as soon as we get out of this break right here on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM. And Chris is busy, I think, on the phone. So I'm looking.
But Billy, look, we've got Facebook messages.
I'm looking through the glass. We got Facebook messages.
Yes.
Well,
Sarah Serrard is sending us messages.
Can you read?
Yeah, I can read it very well. And
Okay.
she said I look very sharp and that she loves me in my sweater. She said the guy to my side, not as much.
Oh.
And I know Sarah,
That
and
was
she's
me.
a sweetheart of a person. And
Okay.
she's been a good friend of mine for many, many years.
All right,
and I'm
so-
glad that she's watching us
So
on
she's
Facebook.
biased, is what you're saying. That she knows you personally. I don't know Sarah, so of course she'd write something like that. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks. I'd like to meet you too. So come in some night.
Maybe we'll have her
you
on the
can
show
come in,
some night.
you come in and you can discuss how we should dress here on the Open Mic Show.
That would be
Chris,
nice.
we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the new Open Mic will be right back. Get in. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, we are back on the Open Mic Show. I'm Bill Macek, and my guest host, or my regular guest host.
Yes,
you're
sir.
my co-host. I think by this time we can move you up to the co-host.
Isn't that nice? So is it going to be shared? No, is it going to be Bill Macek and Bill Ellis on the mic show? Not new open mic.
Don't go pushing your weight around.
I got to get a new agent.
Yeah, you got to get a new agent. This is my show. I started.
It is your show, and this is your town.
Right.
I'm like a parasite.
I mean,
I'm feeding
Johnny
off
Carson
of you.
had
Ed
for
McMahon.
the Tonight Show.
Did you know Ed McMahon never
You're my
thought-
Ed McMahon.
Oh, please. Actually, Ed McMahon from this area. That guy had no talent.
Do the Ed McMahon.
Yeah. Here's Billy. Dun-dun-dun-dun. You know what, though? He had absolutely no talent. That's all he kept saying is, here's Johnny. That's how he made all his money. And initially, when he was the pilot show of the Johnny Carson, when they did it, and they brought Ed McMahon in to be the voice of introduction and so forth. And then Carson got the job, and then Carson turned around and said to Ed McMahon, "Well, you're on the show." He goes, "Well, I thought I was only in there just the voice for the pilot." He goes, "No."
Yeah.
And how many years did they go? What, 27, 28 years together?
Well, yeah.
And you know the sad part about it is,
what?
Ed McMahon went broke.
Did he?
He did.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a very hard time later on in life after the Carson show.
Well, see, you better not give up this show then.
Better not.
You know, it's big bucks for both of us here on Monday night.
Jesus, I know.
Yeah, 7:20 is the time, 978-374-1900. We have a call. Let's talk to Brian.
Hello, gentlemen.
How's the cake man tonight?
The what man?
Cake, C-A-K-E.
Oh, the win.
You won.
Thanks to Mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
He submitted my name and I won. And this is the first time.
Right. Did you get the cake? Pick it up yet? Or are you still...
No, not yet.
Not yet? Oh.
I haven't even checked my mailbox to see if I got my...
Your certificate?
authorization.
Yeah. Well...
Congratulations.
I'm not in that loop, Brian, but let us know next week if you don't get your cake certificate. I'll make sure I'll hand deliver one to you.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
Well, I do have some November birthdays.
You do?
To
Okay.
announce.
Good. Okay. We love to
And
hear
one of them-
about birthdays in November, in
I
October.
put these in every year. Good for the cakes at the LBD's Second Generation Italian Bakery.
You got it.
Located at 409 South Main Street in Bradford.
All right.
You want a job on radio?
He's trying to take your job or mine. I'm not sure what it is.
He's doing a heck of a
but-
job, too.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, Tim knows. I mean, we were at the WRAZ people, the voice of Northern Essex Radio.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
And we had a lot of talent up there.
yeah. All right. Hey, Brian, who are you thinking of mentioning? What are the names?
Okay.
So we don't get carried away and
Right,
have to
right.
forget, and we
Well,
forget
the
about
first
it.
one is Chris. That's short for Christine.
Okay.
And she's won before, but not for a long time. And the other one is Bevo. That's a nickname.
Spell it.
What is the name?
Spell that.
Bevo. B-E-V-B-E-V-O.
Bevo. Okay, Bevo.
Bevo.
That's not
And,
not
his
related
real name
to
is
Beto.
Edwin. Nobody calls him Edwin.
Okay.
Edwin.
We'll just go with Bevo.
Bevo.
Okay. And you've given these to our producer, Chris, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got the information. And
Okay.
last year, Bevo was a winner.
Oh, okay. Well, you never know. He may be able to get 2 in a row.
Is Bevo a man or a woman?
Is it he?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
He.
Yeah.
Well, he's a young man. He's going to be 10 years old next month.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Now, where'd the nickname come from?
Well, I don't know. In some families, every child in that family has a nickname.
Okay.
And,
All right. Does it stand for anything, or you'd rather not say?
I really
Well, I'm
don't
sure it's
know.
not an insulting
Oh,
name.
No. Well, you never know. He could have an older brother.
That stuck him with the name Bevo?
Yes, name Bevo.
It's
Like a boy named Sue?
It's a Spanish name. So.
Yeah. Who wrote that song?
Spanish
Remember?
nickname.
Boy
That
named
was-
Sue.
It was Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. That's right.
Who wrote the song Ring of Fire?
Johnny Cash.
No, his wife.
Oh, his wife wrote. it.
Yes.
Who sang it?
Who wrote A Boy Named Sue?
Was that Johnny Cash?
No.
He sang it.
Yeah.
It was written by Shel Silverstein.
Wow, you wouldn't think a guy with that name would come up with a song like that. He doesn't
Yeah.
sound like a country songwriter.
Well,
What are you, a racist?
I'm not a racist, no. Usually they go by names of Tex or Buck. Because he also wrote the song "The Knish That Won the West."
well, do you remember way back in the day, there was a comedian named Frank Gallup, and he came out with a comedy song called Irving.
Irving?
It was kind of like it was kind of like a takeoff on, if you remember the Ringo song that Lorne Greene recited.
Yeah.
And so he was short and fat and wrote out of the West. with a Mogan David on his silver wrist.
We don't get any of those anymore. Nobody's doing those comedy
No,
things.
because the thing is people get offended. Well, you can't
Well,
say that.
I know. People are very sensitive.
They're
Right.
too
Oh,
sensitive.
yeah, because, well, it's the social media causing it all, I guess.
Well, you know, but we used to have. There was almost always a comedy song on the air, at least one, at a time. Yeah. You know.
I mean,
Remember Alan Sherman? I
Alan
liked him.
Sherman.
Hello, Mata.
Yeah.
Hello, Fada.
Ray Stevens.
Yeah.
How about Weird Al Yankovic?
Yeah, Weird Al.
Yep. He
My favorite Ray Stevens song's got to be "The Streak."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a tremendous song. That was funny.
Yeah.
But people don't do that anymore.
No, we can't be. I guess we can't. We got to be serious, right?
Yeah.
Always be serious.
I went to my junior prom and somebody struck it, I guess, or streaked it, or whatever the term would be.
What's the terms?
Brian, what's the term? Is it they struck it or streaked it?
Streak, strank, struck.
Streaked.
They streaked it
They
with
streaked
an ED
it.
at the
Yeah,
end.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was wearing a mask. So.
Oh, yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah.
And I remember a friend of mine had this campus newsletter from Bradford College, and I guess it was called "And So It Goes," written across the masthead.
Yeah.
And there were 3 cute girls streaking across campus.
Oh my. Was that censored, the picture, or they actually had it in the publication?
It was actually in the publication.
Oh my.
You know what's...
Well, you know what that means, though? They will never be able to be a Supreme Court justice.
Well, unless somebody burns all the copies of those newspapers.
That's true.
Well, it doesn't matter because they were in disguise. None of the faces showed.
Oh, okay.
But that's good. It's interesting.
Well, unless somebody can, attest
somebody's going to come forward
the
and say,
credibility
the third
that
one
they
was
knew
Mary
who
Jo.
it was. Right.
Yeah, well.
When I was in high school,
corroborating evidence.
I had an English teacher that went to Woodstock, and we were making a film back then. It wouldn't have been a video or quite. And
wait a minute, the teacher went to Woodstock, not
teacher,
you. Not
teacher,
you.
teacher went
You
to
didn't
Woodstock. So she had said to the class, "You know what would be nice if we filmed all the students running naked across the football field." I said, "Yeah, that would have been nice."
Yeah, that's good.
So, but yeah, she was very.
A flower teacher?
Yeah, exactly.
Flower,
yeah, she was.
Flower
she was
girl
like that, and
goes flower
and I
teacher.
had an economics teacher that was that way, and he taught us different dirty words and what they actually meant. I won't get into them though, and certain ones have different meanings to it, and
were any of them on Kavanaugh's calendars?
Yeah,
Any of those
there was something
words?
about someplace in Maryland. But
yeah, I don't know about that.
That poor guy. Let's get into Kavanaugh after this break that's coming up, Billy. Because
yeah, we can take a break right now, and then we can get into another topic. Brian, you want to hang on, or?
No, that's all right.
Okay,
I'll go and let other people call in.
Okay, and
birthdays and anniversaries.
And we got your 2 names in, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how.
Evo, I like that
wanna,
name.
I want to say how it works to everybody. You just call in 978-374-1900. You give the name of a person who has a birthday in November or an anniversary in November, and we put their name into our large 10-gallon cowboy hat, and we pick out one the last Monday of October or whatever month we're ending for the following month, and they win a cake, just like Brian did last week when I pulled his name out of the cowboy hat. So that's that simple.
Right, Beaver.
There you
That's
go.
how it goes.
All right.
Beaver.
Yes, you can go to the LBD's second generation Italian bakery.
That's where the cake
We're going to have him
from.
cut an
Right.
ad for that.
Yeah. Okay, Brian.
Thanks,
for
Brian.
calling in.
Gentlemen,
all right.
have a good evening.
All right.
You too.
Thank you. And that's how simple it is to talk to us. We're easygoing. We clown around it a little bit. So
You have to have a
that's
sense
the
of
way it
humor.
works. On Monday night,
Remember
the
what they
open
used to
mic
say in
show.
the Reader's Digest? Laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's so true.
And isn't it sunshine? Is
Sunshine what?
Is
On my
the
shoulder?
Best, no, not sunshine.
Who sang the song?
Just
You know,
There's
Billy.
so many
You
sayings.
actually
There's so
interjected.
many.
You actually interjected a line when Tom Sullivan was here. Another brick in the wall.
Yeah.
Do you recall that? Do you remember you said that?
Yeah, I did.
I thought maybe you did it unconsciously.
I remember,
subconsciously.
I remember saying that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just another brick in the wall. That's for the Mount Washington area we were talking about.
Right, but you had
how
reference to Pink
they're,
Floyd.
They're in a comeback era.
Yep.
Yep. And that was the song. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Let's
Another
take a
brick
break,
in the
Will,
wall.
and then we'll get back in hot and heavy.
That's what we're going to do right here on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
The Newsroom 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Back again on the Open Mic Show on 97.9 FM WHAV. Bill Macek and Bill Ellis here until 8 o'clock tonight. And you were going to bring up a topic that you wanted to discuss. So,
But we have somebody on the line
Oh,
first.
oh, that's
Let's
right.
talk
We
to
do
that
have-
gentleman
let's
first.
go there.
And then we'll get into the...
Right. Chris, bring him up. Okay. Hello, Kenny.
Hello, how are you, Bill?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, Mr. Counselor. I just want to put a birthday wish out to the old. Everybody says he's a grumpy old man, Stanley Colton, for November 7th.
Oh, okay.
Birthday wish out there.
Well, happy
I
birthday,
know-
Stanley, and thanks for calling in Stanley's birthday, Ken. And I could call you Ken, Counselor Ken, because you were on the city council, and supposedly that's one of those titles that you never lose, even
That's
when
right.
you're out of office. So,
Right, and I'm looking forward to coming on the show next month in June. Looking
that's
forward
right.
to it.
I've invited Kenny to be on the Tuesday after the November election, when I think we're going to have a little election panel to discuss what happened, and Kenny's going to come on, and I'm sure he'll have some good information to discuss and bring forward, right, Ken?
For sure. For
Yep,
sure.
absolutely, yep.
And but thank you guys again. You do an awesome job, and keep up the good work.
Well, thank you, Kenny. All right, Counselor, thanks for calling in, and happy birthday to Stan Colton. And yep, thanks for calling. Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye, Ken. All right, great guy.
Do you want that on your gravestone, Councilor William Macek?
You know what? I don't want to even have anything to do with it. It's not going to be up to me.
Is it up to me?
Well,
that could be a lot of
I don't-
fun.
If you're the
you know what?
last man standing, my wife is passed, and then
Well,
I
you
go.
have you have some children also.
I have some children. Yeah.
You know what would be nice if, and I hope it's not for another 30 some odd years, but you have a gravestone that people can visit, and they press a button, and we're on YouTube, an old show would come up. See if somebody could sit there and listen for 2 hours. And
It could happen.
that would be nice.
Yeah. It'll be probably different. I think the technology will have really changed by that time.
I think in 30 years, you won't have to go to YouTube. You'll have something planted in your head. And
Right.
you just think about it.
You just think about it, and it pops up
Yeah.
in your eyes or in your glasses.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah, things certainly do change. There was a time when state of the art happened once a year, like when all the manufacturers brought out their kind of like cars, when they brought out new editions, the new television sets now look like this, and they're all kind of the same, or whatever. The new record player, the new game.
Now, do you still have a high fidelity record player at home?
I do have one.
Do you really?
I can't say that I've played it,
Okay.
used it of late, but it's there if I ever want to play something.
Some vinyl.
I have a lot of vinyl, yeah, because I was in the game.
So 45, 78s, 33s, you have the array?
Mostly 33, albums and some 45s, and not many 78s, but there may be one in the stack.
Yeah, my father had some 78s that I liked. There was Fibber McGee and Molly, and there was Amos and Andy.
I got 8 tracks too. I got a lot of 8 tracks with some great music on them, and I don't even know if it works anymore. I have an 8-track player recorder, and I could see if that might allow me to play some of the music that I haven't heard in years that's on the 8 tracks.
You could reel-to-reel cassette.
I have a reel-to-reel player.
We've had so many various ways to play music.
I know, 8-track and then cassettes.
Yeah. All digital
and
now.
then CDs.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think it's a conspiracy. I think that they make different things.
And then knowing that the life is going to be 5 years.
When everybody owns one of these, now we're going to come up with a new technology that's even better.
Well, it's years ago, I met a fellow named Johnny Russell. Now, Johnny Russell was a country singer. He was on Hee Haw and so forth, and he was performing at the Vermont State Fair in Rutland. And he wrote the song, Act Naturally, that was sung by Ringo Starr.
Yeah.
And he said he was loving it because at that time CDs had just come out. And he says, I'm getting royalties all over again.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he made himself oodles of money.
Yeah.
With the CD coming back out.
That's nice, yeah.
Billy, there's some big happenings that occurred last week. You and I talked a little bit about it when we had coffee earlier tonight.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the hearing that took place this past week?
You're talking, of course, about President
Kavanaugh.
Trump's appointment of Brett Kavanaugh as someone that he would like to see be the next Supreme Court justice, and he has to go through hearings, and there was quite an experience for the hearings, and then there was the follow-up hearing. I mean, they put him through like 30 hours of questioning when he just sat there and took all the questions and answered them. But then, when it looked like he was going to get out and become the next Supreme Court justice, then all of a sudden a
People
few
from the
women
past.
popped out
Yeah.
that had stories to tell.
And you know what's really odd?
But no corroboration.
No corroboration. Her memory is very vague, which is setting a precedent, Billy. If you could have some woman make a claim about you from 25 years ago, automatically you're a bad guy. Just because that woman, and if she has some animosity against you for whatever, your name is stained, as is Kavanaugh's
and
name.
actually, all she had to do was know me, and she could prove that she was in my class. And even if nothing happened, she might have had an incident with somebody else, which I think could be possible here, because she can't really recall a lot of the details. And maybe she had somebody, sexually harass her or sexually, make contact with her or try to, an attempt. It doesn't seem that she can prove that it was Kavanaugh.
And it was.
But I support women. I believe the woman had an incident. I just don't know. yet, and the
If
FBI
it
is
was.
investigating it. So I'm leaving an open mind.
Well, what
It's
I
not
found
that I
very
don't
interesting.
I don't think she's lying. I think she's.
Well, she may have had something that has happened. But
I just think she may be, because there's also stories that she may have Kavanaugh in her head, because there's also supposedly, and it's not being reported. I heard it, a couple of times. Then it gets, squashed, I guess. But I heard that there was that Kavanaugh's mother, who is also a judge, ruled against her mother
on a foreclosure
hearing. You heard it too.
Yes.
Yeah, but you don't hear it anymore. It's not.
No.
It's not in the news. It's not. So wouldn't that make you hate the Kavanaugh family? I went to school with that kid.
Of course.
He was he was in my class, and his mother. Look what his mother just did to my mother. Because I'm sure it was traumatic for the family.
Well,
and then the other one is where she supposedly has a part-time job at least.
With the Bush and Pill company.
It's a California company that is a manufacturer of drugs, and the one pill, which I understand she's written at least 8 or 9 articles about.
Exactly.
That pill is primarily used for abortion.
Right.
So now, if you have somebody such as Brett Kavanaugh, who is maybe going to be on the Supreme Court, and if she's making money off this pill, and if you think he's going to reverse Roe v. Wade, then that might be like a personal attack, the way she sees it.
And I think it is. Billy, if you listen to the testimony, she was very specific. He put his hand over my mouth. I thought he was accidentally going to kill me. That Mark Judge was up against the wall. There was laughter that's taking place. But the preview to that was, I had one beer. Right? But so she knew about the one beer. She knew about all the activity that took place. But when they asked her, how did you get to the party? She had no knowledge of that.
Or how'd you get home?
Exactly. If so, she only had one beer and she ran. You would think that all this would have been all in her mind, but only specific things are still in her mind.
Right. And also all of the people that she said were also in the house have
said they weren't there.
Signed statements, that they had no recollection or weren't
Right.
there.
And when they say it, like for instance, this Mark Judge, when he comes across and said that this didn't happen, if he's found to be lying or perjuring himself, that's a felony, Billy. He's looking at jail time.
Well, he's already signed the affidavit too, under the penalties of
and all
felony.
the Dems were saying on the other day to Kavanaugh, are you willing to have an FBI investigation? And he said, whatever the committee wants, I'll do it. No, do you want it?
Right.
Well, he's already had it 6 times.
Right.
They've already been
Correct.
6 times. So Trump finally turns around and says, all right, we'll have an FBI investigation. Now they turn around and say, well, it's not long enough. Well, would you want it as long as the Mueller's investigation into Trump? I mean, we're going on a couple of years with this bill.
They agreed to something, and now on Monday, when they agreed on Friday, on Monday they're also already saying that they want different terms. So
right, they're moving the goalposts.
Right, exactly, which is always the way it works. So we'll see what happens here. I'm still. I don't know who's going to. How the reports are going to come back.
Everything about it stinks.
I don't know who's going to. But you know what, Kavanaugh was very emotional, and they're trying to hold that against him. The man's life is on the line.
His job, his life, his family reputation.
If I were him, I think they'd have to have me on suicide watch.
Right. And plus, the other thing is, the Democrats said, well, there were no Republican senators that asked Dr. Ford any questions. Well, they had that woman asking questions. If it was in reverse, if they turned around, they didn't have that woman from Arizona who actually got accolades from Janet Reno. So there's a Democrat that was very much in favor of this woman. If it was the Republican men that asked questions, they would have said that she was being browbeat.
Well,
and I'm telling you right now, if they
originally
men
asked
questions,
the defense team for Dr. Ford originally asked that the senators themselves, the all-white male group of senators, not ask questions.
Right.
So they thought maybe that's a good idea. Fine, we'll bring in somebody else.
No matter whoever asks questions, they're always going to do the reverse. So whatever if they asked not to have the men ask questions, so they brought in a woman that deals with sexual prosecution. And she came out the other day and said, I don't think there was enough information there to bring charges against Kavanaugh.
Right.
Because you can't be vague.
Right. Well, it's really, and then they'll say, well, it's not really a court. It's just a
job interview.
It's a job interview before a panel of senators. So, and that's not written any place in the Constitution. The authority is given to that group, but there's no details as to whether you have to follow along, Superior Court, Supreme Court rules and how it's handled. So they're doing their best. I think both sides are, doing their best to get what they're looking for, and we'll see, who will end up winning in this case. I think it's really it's a jump ball. I mean, I think that there's
Billy,
credibility
they go back
on
to,
both sides.
He's 15 years old. They could even go farther back. When you were 8-year-old, you pulled Mary Jane's pigtail in the playground. You're violent against women.
Well, I do think that the problem is that when it comes to sex offenses, that it becomes a lifelong charge, and you have to.
And I tell you,
and that's what's the case here. If he had done something else at 15, robbed a convenience store or something, he would have
spent 6 months in juvenile detention.
Right, and
came
then,
out, he'd be all set.
And then it would be help this kid. We want to get him on the straight and narrow. We want him to be a great person. And Kavanaugh certainly has, has that kind of a reputation. And as far as these couple of women that say that when they were 15 or 16 that he tried to take advantage of them, we'll see. We'll see what the FBI comes up with.
And any man that does anything to a woman like that should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Yeah.
And I don't approve of that at all. Any man that wants to show his machismo size, that's not being a man. My father always said to us kids growing up, and I have 3 brothers, if you ever feel compelled that you're going to raise your fist or raise your hand towards your wife,
right,
walk out the door. Because it's not worth it.
Absolutely, and that's the way I am. I mean, I'm not violent, period, but I don't. I would never go there.
No, I've
always
never been
respected
man
women,
enough where I would do
and
something like
I
that.
think that they deserve the respect. So,
let's take a short break, and we'll get back to this subject.
Let's do that. We'll get back to more conversation right here on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open Mic.
Bill Macek and the new Open Mic will be. Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, we are back on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 978-374-1900. That's the number, and you still have time to call in and get involved in our conversation or bring some other topic up. We are here just until 8 o'clock, so we got about 11, 12 minutes left, Bill. That's it. That's it. Time flies. Radio, fastest couple of hours in your life.
Talking about flying. Now, Dr. Ford said she does not like to fly. And it was brought out that she goes to Tahiti and,
Right.
and many other places.
Right.
But she doesn't like to fly. Now, that was a stall tactic because what they're trying to do is the Democrats are trying to get this thing to go beyond November 6th for the election.
Well, that's what the intent is. I think some of the Democrats have actually said that. So
Initially,
you're not
it came up.
guessing or
No.
trying to suppose. It really has been stated that they're looking to do that.
No.
Because if the Democrats win the House, this will all go away.
Right.
And almost it will come to either a stalemate or there'll be a lot of reversal on some of the things that have happened under the Trump administration, even though he'll be president, at least for the initial period of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Now, all her social media stuff was deleted. Why is that?
Well, I talk to people, but I heard that there was almost information on there that she would not want to have brought forward. And I'm not going to repeat any of the things that I heard, although I heard it on credible news reports.
Right.
But I guess, she wasn't as clean cut, I guess, is that the one way, or as innocent?
Prim and proper.
Right. as she would like you to think during her youth years.
I think she's a pawn, and I'll tell you why. When her testimony started the other morning, there were a couple of Democratic senators that sent fundraising emails out right at that period of time.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to get people that were watching it, that were hot under the collar. This poor gal, she was attacked. Oh, look, I'm getting something from the senator from Hawaii. And sure enough, they'll start sending some money that way.
I was surprised to hear her say that she didn't know who was going to pay for the polygraph test.
Yeah.
And then I heard after that that and then her legal team says, well, we're pro bono. We're not looking for any money representing you. And on her GoFundMe page, they've over $500,000. Yeah.
What was the envelope Shirley Jackson Lee there gave to one of the attorneys that was sitting there? Did you see that photo?
I did see. Yeah, I don't know
what was that envelope about?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But it's kind of interesting. She also, the attorney Mitchell there, the woman,
Rachel Mitchell.
Rachel Mitchell.
Yeah.
She did show in a very polite way that all the dots aren't connected.
Right.
And I thought that why?
And she did it meticulously, because the state that Dr. Ford appeared to be in, if she raised her voice towards Dr. Ford, she doesn't look in a positive light. She seemed to be very sympathetic, asking the questions, and then she, came out a couple of days afterwards and said, based on my questioning, there wasn't enough there, where if this was a court of law, that we could go forward with the case.
Case couldn't be brought.
Yeah.
I heard this afternoon on, once again, a credible commentator. He stated that the two women that got after Flake in the elevator, that they actually are employees of George Soros on one of his...
No surprise.
Yeah.
No surprise.
And of course, people know that George Soros is probably the number one person who hates the United States as it currently sits and wants change.
Now, this girl, Dr. Ford, or woman, Dr. Ford, when her name was leaked out, there was only a few people that knew about this. So when the question was asked to Feinstein, and she said, oh, no, I never did it, and I think I talked to my staff about it. So she said her staff didn't do it. So then they're coming out and said, well, Dr. Ford may have told some friends, and the friends leaked it out. I don't think it was. I think it was purposely leaked. And as much as Washington, D.C., Billy, is a sieve, if there was something on Trump, it would be out by now, because everybody in the world would know about it.
Well, they've made up so many
in
things.
Washington. Exactly.
And
So it's
leaks here, leaks there.
and everything he's been doing, they say he's friendly with Putin. There's nothing that he's done to show Putin that he's in love with him.
Right. Well, it'll be interesting to see what the final report says, because I don't believe that he's going to get away clean. I think that they will at least create clouds if they don't have...
There'll always be clouds, and they're still attacking Clarence Thomas. There's a woman that writes books about him because of what he did. The other thing, Billy, is the woman that claimed about the gang rapes that took place between 1981 and 1983. She said there was 10 different parties she attended. Billy, why would a woman go to a party 10 times knowing that each time you go there's a gang rape?
Well, didn't they say that she went 9 times and then she finally got raped in the 10th?
Did she get raped in the 10th time?
I think that, honestly,
so why would you go there?
I think that's what I heard.
I mean, would you go to a party knowing somebody has a gun and they shoot it off during the party just for fun? You know, knowing that one time you go there, you may be
you might
shot.
get hit by a bullet.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
But you know what?
But you know what? They also said that if that kind of thing was happening in a community, that
people know it.
People
Billy,
talk. People,
it was a girls'
how many
school
you have
and
a
a
lot of
boys'
people,
school,
right?
Catholic schools,
and the police would know. They would hear rumor, and they'd investigate and know what was going on. So, that one I don't think has any traction. I don't think.
No, and it's salacious. And isn't her attorney, Michael Avanti, the attorney for Stormy Daniels?
Yeah.
So they have to make it juicy.
Right. And he was on The View the next day.
Yeah.
So did he get paid to be on The View, you think?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, of course he did. And he's looking to run for president. He says, everybody's running for president. Are you running?
Oh, talk about running for president. Elizabeth Warren came out on Saturday in a speech in Holyoke.
Yeah, she slipped a little bit.
Yeah, she is seriously considering running for president. And after the election, she's going to definitely sit down and contemplate what she's going to do.
Right.
Now, which gets to the point was Jeff Deal was supposed to be on the show this evening.
Right, yeah. We should have brought that up earlier because we did have a promo running that Jeff was going to be in this hour.
And we had got a phone call last minute that he couldn't make it.
And Jeff Deal is Liz Warren's challenger.
On the Republican side.
For the Senate seat.
Now, I have to ask you, and Billy, I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask the people of Haverhill that are listening tonight. Do you want to vote in Elizabeth Warren knowing that she does not want to be the U.S. Senator from Massachusetts for long? She wants to be President of the United States. I don't think she's got a shot.
And if she is Senator and she just runs, she won't be spending much time thinking about helping out our state because she's going to be looking to advance Liz Warren's career in politics.
And she's going to be making these asinine statements, but put aside that she claims that she's got Native American blood. But when she makes comments that you didn't build that, well, who built it then? You don't want, that reminds you of like a communist type of a topic, Billy. No, this is all in it together. Well, you take a guy that turns around and invests his life savings in a business and makes it grow. The government didn't help him with that. The guy did it on his own.
Right.
Well, when they talk about, who built the road that went by his building, and they say, the government did. No, the government didn't do that. It was financed by taxpayers, us.
Well, I heard there was a survey. It's over 50%. It's somewhere 58, 60% of the people in Massachusetts that support Liz Warren do not want her as a presidential candidate.
Yeah,
I heard that.
Billy, she thinks she is the second coming, and because everybody around her tells her how good she's doing. I have a series of questions that I would like to ask her if and when she appears on the open mic show.
The invitation has been given.
It has been given. I've called, but apparently there's been other members here at the station that have called.
That are trying to work with her campaign to get her to either call in or come in. And we'd treat her right, but maybe you would have some tough questions, I'm sure. Now, I will say the one thing that I know about Jeff Deal, and I don't know a lot about him, but I know that he worked. He has saved all of us money because he worked to get the ballot question against the gas tax that was going to automatically increase every year.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we don't have that increase annually in our gas tax because of Jeff Deal.
Right.
He put it all together as a Massachusetts state representative, and he organized it, and he made it happen. So I give him kudos for that one.
Right, and it saved billions of dollars.
Right.
And who's benefiting? Everybody in Massachusetts, whether you're a conservative, liberal, or independent,
or
we're
Democrat.
all benefiting.
Yeah, or a Democrat.
Or Republican.
Or Republican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's all the various categories.
Right.
But no, I give him credit. He went up, and he being a Republican in the State House in Massachusetts, I mean, that must have been very, very tough to do, Billy, because all Massachusetts Democrats, I mean, we're called Taxachusetts for a reason, and they look at us as an ATM machine.
Well, we do have a big budget for a state, and the way we're run almost like a little country. That's what I've thought for many years, is that Massachusetts setup is just like Washington's, except it's just for our state. In a lot of ways, it's very similar.
Right.
But we were part of the birth of our country, so that's not a big surprise. We're going to take a break and end it.
Yes.
Yes, it is time to say thank you for listening, and we'll be back next Monday night right here on the Open Mic Show on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Open mic.
Join Bill Mason. Newsroom.